everyone, and welcome back to Chronos Plays Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Today, we're loading a save because we ended in the to be continued screen. February 24th? I mean, that is like the right after the trial, yeah? I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm so sorry for what my sister said. I mean, all honesty, not the worst thing she said. I think the worst thing she said is when she confessed. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to do in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I mean, to be fair, she did throw the entire prosecution department underneath, like, a gigantic bus. Which would probably call into, like, for a lot of investigation into a lot of trials and make sure, like, stuff wasn't fabricated across years. And maybe it was, I don't know. Edgeworth didn't seem to take it too well. I don't know, or I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Darke killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Well, I don't want a Darke convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? Also, what do you mean used? It's all there in the file. Joe Darke's last victim was Prosecutor Niall Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. What did you have to do with those killings, Emma? Are you really the murderer? On the night Prosecutor Niall Marshall was murdered, Joe Darke tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Niall, was only trying to save me. Jake doesn't seem to hold it against you, though, does he? So that means, I mean, he's been relatively cordial with her, but he is an idiot and kind of a jerk, but still. Yeah, I was a witness in the Joe Darke killing. No trial. I didn't see that one coming, even though I read the file. What do you mean you didn't see that one coming? We read the file that stated her as a witness. SL9 incident. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of year too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day. Unusual for the season. Not where I live. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Darke. He came bursting into the office. Your office does not have cameras. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Darke tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then... What happened? Assuming he got stabbed and died. I'll never forget it. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. I mean, trauma does that. A permanent picture? I don't remember the moment when Darke stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked though when I was attacked. That must have been why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? Falsified evidence is the proper terminology for it, Phoenix. The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumor about Mr. Edgeworth, and I mean, it's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it, Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must have not been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. I mean... I feel like you don't need to falsify evidence on a dude that busts into an office with a knife and attempts to take someone hostage and then stab someone to death. It seems like pretty cut and dry. Permanent picture. What did you see in the instant that crime occurred?
Darke knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised up his knife.
Now Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl.
I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out.
Yeah, understandable.
When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms.
Poor Emma, you've been through so much.
I couldn't bring myself to testify about that incident. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good.
2 years ago, you must have been 14. That's understandable. Dude, people of adult ages can freak out at the sight of a murder. Understandably so, right? That shit is traumatic. It's not like you can go, oh, that person just got stabbed to death.
Ho-hum. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I became a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies and find evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any.
I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. Something puzzling. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma.
What is it?
You said you were in Lana's office at the time, right?
That's right.
Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by the prosecutor?
Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Darke had been taken in for questioning that day.
Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police?
Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and...
I guess they just didn't lock the door?
And fled into my sister's office.
But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office?
Because the detective offices and the questioning room are right across from the elevator.
Across from the elevator? But Lana, the chief prosecutor, wasn't she... Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she?
No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective.
Oh.
She was the best in the entire force.
Yeah, what? That's news to me. Apparently, I don't do background checks on anyone that I'm involved with, like, for cases.
After the Joe Darke case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor.
I feel like that's a different set of skills. And you can't just transfer from a detective over to a prosecutor's office. Lana used to be a detective. I better have another talk with her. Sure? Do you want to see anything that I have here? What could I possibly show you that you won't... Just this? Seems everything is somehow related to this incident.
What was it labeled again? The SL9 incident?
Yeah, the name of everyone connected to this trial is listed here. All that's left is to figure out just what role everyone played in this case. If we search hard enough, I think we'll find our answer. What exactly did or didn't Lana do?
I'm not sure I want to know everything.
I mean, understandable. You want to watch this tape again?
We owe our entire success in court today to this tape.
At first, I thought it was a joke, but it turned out to be a goldmine of evidence.
I counted a total of 5 clues in it.
It also gave the Blue Badger some publicity. Of the negative sort, that is. Aww. This fingerprint was left on the locker when Marshall was stashing his bloody coat.
Guess that blood wasn't Goodman's after all.
No, just that of an overly zealous patrolman.
So there wasn't a murder at the police department at 5:15 in the end.
I wonder what's going to happen to Officer Marshall now. I'm assuming he's been arrested. This jar's pretty fragile.
It looks like it's about to break apart.
What do you mean about to? It's already broken.
I meant again.
This piece was found in the Detective Goodman's evidence locker. That means...
This is somehow related to the other incident.
Yeah, locker? You see this?
I've noticed that defense attorneys have a tendency to want to show people things.
Okay, so I guess I'll just go through this until she says something new. Oh, there you go.
Mr. Goodman didn't have this on him on the day of the crime, right?
Right. A few days before he was murdered, he had filed a lost items report. Although stolen item is more like it. Swiped by the lone wolf who dressed up like him.
I never would have thought Officer Marshall the type to do something like that.
It didn't come as much of a surprise to me. I mean, he is a weirdo. The screwdriver was at Edgeworth's office, wasn't it?
Yes, he said it didn't have anything to do with the crime.
Then what are you doing carrying it around?
Hey, don't ask me. I'm not the one who making the decisions here.
If I recall, Edgeworth said Chief Gaunt asked him to take this to the prosecutor's office.
Mr. Edgeworth is so kind giving us something like this. Hey, you don't think he likes me, do you?
You're 16. Are you okay, Emma?
Mr. Wright, hurry! Run! Achoo!
Thought you were gonna turn blonde for a second and start firing a gun at me.
Here, I'll wipe those fingerprints off your face.
Might as well wipe my dignity away too while you're at it.
There's only one number left to check out.
That's right. We now know the other numbers aren't related to the murder. Sevens, an executive officer.
777777777.
I believe that's 17 too many. We can't find out whose number this is unless we have some incriminating evidence. That's going to be hard to dig up by tomorrow.
How about the fact that they were there? What do you mean?
I would imagine them just being there that day would give you the rights to look it up, seeing how it's connected somehow to a murder.
This stuff is pretty expensive.
You don't say. How much?
I'd say about 10 per gram.
$10 per gram?
I saved my allowance to buy it.
Your allowance? Does your sister give you that?
Yeah, we don't have parents.
Right.
Sometimes she even gives me a bottle instead of my allowance.
A bottle of luminol testing fluid? Man, I just take the allowance myself. Seeing how I never get paid for my jobs. Why would this have been in the car's exhaust pipe?
It's evidence from an old case, right?
Oh, I think this is just old stuff now, isn't it? Right, the SL9 incident was solved, apparently. So that was stolen on the day of the transfer. Maybe I should look into these SL9 incidents. Yeah, this stuff is, I think, just the same as before. Yeah, alright. Pretty sure I don't need to show the rest of this stuff. Probably, like, this was attached to the other one. I mean... This was the shirt about the shoe, wasn't there? Let's see, what was it?
Traces of blood on its sole. There wasn't any blood found at the prosecutor's office underground parking lot.
But we did find blood on the floor somewhere, didn't we? Where was that again?
In the evidence room at the police department. Now stop using me as your memo pad.
No.
This photograph, Miss Starr must have been seeing things.
And photographing things? This proves Miss Sky was there at the scene of the crime. She's connected this crime somehow, but how? I mean... I want to say these are all old ones, and we're just repeating things. Oh, I need to present. I don't know why with the court records there. You just used right for you to call you, right?
But she hung up right away, and it was a bad connection. I couldn't hear anything.
It was underground parking lots, I suppose.
She did say something about a muffler, but like I said, she hung up right away.
I don't remember that one, actually. No. Actually, have we ever read this before? I don't know if we have. Oh, no, we did, because he died between sometime 4 p.m. and 5:30. That is a pretty big stretch of time there. We already checked this out, right? Yeah. Anything else?
So, Mr. Edgeworth's knife was the murder weapon?
Right. Or so the witness, Miss Starr, claims. She saw your sister stab Mr. Goodman with this knife.
You know, all of this is that Angel Star's fault.
She's not the one on trial here.
Well, no, but she must have seen it wrong.
Her eyesight isn't on trial either.
I bet you'd be pretty happy with the King of Attorney's shield too, huh?
We defense attorneys are a scattered, unorganized bunch. You don't say.
Still, I wonder why the trophy shield is broken.
It's pretty odd. Yeah, and we already said that one. Alright, cool. There's nothing new, right? Let's move to the detention center? Assuming we're going to be going all around town looking for things.
Lana! Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble.
Yeah, I mean, first you confess to killing someone, then you out your entire prosecutor's office, which I find kind of hilarious, but that's going to cause trouble for a lot of people. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type.
Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks.
Lana, Emma told me about you.
Oh.
About how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SL9 incident was the reason you were your transfer to the prosecutor's office.
That's right.
Could you fill me in on the details? Especially about the unusual change of jobs and how that was just okayed?
I suppose you have the right to know, Mr. Wright.
Alright. Today's trial. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago.
Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At the trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul.
Well, all drama aside, drama queen, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there was no murder at the police department.
Tell me it's not true, Lana, what the witness Ms. Starr said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me.
I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so fazed before. Mostly because we've just met her today, and we literally have had no chances to see this woman be fazed at anything.
It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing! They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gaunt cracked together.
Chief Gaunt?
He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gaunt, he was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed.
Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're a chief prosecutor. What happened?
I was planning on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to get experience in investigating crime scenes, so you could use the experience in court, right? Gaunt's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged for my transfer to the prosecutor's office.
Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. Dark investigation.
2 years ago, I was the second in command of the detectives investigating Darke.
Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon Gaunt, right? Pretty sure that says that in the file we read.
Yes, Deputy Chief Gaunt and I shared the same office and the same investigations.
They even had the same office. That's not that weird. That's not that weird, Phoenix.
We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr.
Explains a lot, really, and we should probably look into hiring more detectives. I know nothing of this Goodman aside that he's dead. But knowing Cowboy Bebop and Lunch Lady over there, y'all need better hires. Like, goddamn.
It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Darke was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place.
When he tried to murder Emma.
Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Darke. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me.
Now you tell us. First on the scene.
Damon Gaunt and Niall Marshall were the ones questioning Darke that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Darke must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gaunt and Marshall let their guards down, and then fled the room.
Lock the doors, people!
From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Gaunt and myself. That's where he found me!
So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana.
It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gaunt and Marshall were questioning Darke. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood.
3 bodies? How did he stab him? Okay. Why am I even questioning that? I kind of already see where this is going. But, judging from what Emma saw, being stabbed in the back seemed very odd. And the fact that he's on top of this dude. Yeah. 3 bodies. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, and Emma, who had passed out.
And the suspect, Joe Darke. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Darke had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious.
What did he do?
To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma and carried her out of the room and just held her.
Can't blame her. After all, her sister must have gone through. The sentence seems weird to me for some reason.
After that, I placed Darke under immediate arrest.
Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident.
That's right. Quite a coincidence, huh?
I don't buy it.
What are you saying?
There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance.
But the case was solved 2 years ago.
And at least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved.
Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Darke. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories.
That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Darke at the police department, right?
Yes, in the office that Damon Gaunt and I shared. The office that Mr. Gaunt now occupies by himself. The chief's office.
Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. Yeah, okay. I don't know why I stopped abruptly there talking. You want to look at these files?
Attorney and prosecutors have no business showing evidence outside court. It's taboo, especially when the interests of both parties are involved.
She really means it.
Lana!
So you're not going to want to watch or see anything? Nothing, though? Also, that's kind of hilarious coming from someone who falsified evidence. I guess I could go through all this stuff and see if she has anything to say. I did not mean to do that. But it's seemingly going to just be nothing. I feel like we spent a lot of this episode talking in our office for like the first time since like the beginning of the game. I guess I'll just finish showing her. I mean, she's not gonna talk about anything. Okay. All right. Well, actually, let's show her the screwdriver just in case she's like, "What the hell is that?" No. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna call the episode here today, and we'll go to the chief office tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, press like and below. If you're not subscribed yet, why don't you have my video second? Check out some of the content, see if it's your liking. Once again, thank you for watching. Hope you all have a great day.